Tonight, former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, right here and right now. Good evening, Mr. Speaker.
Good evening.
Mr. Speaker, there's so many issues on our plate tonight, but let me start first right down in Arizona with immigration. What would you do?
I would pass a comprehensive national immigration bill. I would control the border. I'd make English the official language of government. I would make very clear that we are pro-legal immigration. I would have a legal guest worker program that was outsourced to American Express, Visa, or MasterCard, so you didn't have the kind of fraud you'd have with the federal bureaucracy. I'd be very tough on American employers, because you wouldn't have anybody working illegally if you didn't have employers who are hiring them illegally. So I think there is a program. What I wouldn't do is blame the people of Arizona who are frightened, who see their federal government failing totally, and who have had casualties, literally, local rancher killed, policeman killed, serious problems. So the answer is not Arizona. The answer is Washington, and the federal government should do its job.
All right. Why won't the federal government do its job? Because it's not like this problem just arose about a week ago or 2 weeks ago. People have been talking about immigration, at least going, I mean, as far back as President Reagan. Everyone's been talking about securing the borders, doing all this stuff. But we've got zero done, or almost zero.
No, you're exactly right. When President Reagan signed the Simpson-Mazzoli immigration bill, which ended up giving amnesty to 3 million people, he wrote in his diary that he signed the bill because we had to get control of the border, we had to have a guest worker program, and we had to make sure employers did not hire people illegally. All three of those promises failed, and I think you have to put blame on both parties for refusing to take seriously the challenges we're faced with. You didn't have, under Republicans, any real effort to control the border, and you don't have, under Democrats, any real effort to control the border. What Arizona is telling us is that this problem is now serious enough that we need to confront it, deal with it. I would hope, as a rare break from his normal practice, that the president would be willing to be genuinely bipartisan and insist on listening to everybody, but hammer out a bill, which means, by the way, the labor unions have to accept a large guest worker program and a large 401B visa program, both of which the labor unions have opposed. And it means that the right has to accept some path not to citizenship, but to legality for people who are in the United States. I think this will be a very contentious issue, but I think it's got to be done in a way which brings people together and not ignored any longer. The answer is not to attack Arizona. The answer is to solve the problem in Washington.
All right. Now, there's no secret who's running the government now. The Democratic Party has the White House, the House, and the Senate. So they've got all the authority to sort of drive this engine. Do you see anything coming out of any of those three entities to show a serious commitment to resolving the illegal immigration problem?
No. What we've seen so far has been a very cynical and deliberately political effort to turn the immigration debate into an effort to isolate Republicans from Latinos. It has been totally calculated. It's been signaled for the last 2 months, and it is frankly fairly, I think, disgusting and inappropriate to see the Democrats try to use this issue. This is a serious national problem, and it's a problem we ought to address and solve. It has to start with controlling the border, but it has to include a lot more than that, and I think we need a comprehensive program.
All right, just to be fair, when the Republican Party had the White House under President Bush 43, did you see any serious commitment to immigration reform, illegal immigration reform?
Well, look, I mean, in all fairness, while I disagreed with the bill, John McCain and Edward Kennedy did produce a bill. The president did hold a press conference in the Rose Garden, but the bill collapsed because it was essentially out of touch with the reality of the American people. And the same thing will happen again. There's a rumor that the Democrats may try to pass a bill that gives amnesty to 10 million people and allows them to register as citizens and vote simultaneously. That kind of a bill will shatter the Democratic Party even more than it's already been hurt by big government and big health care and big deficits. If that's the direction they go in, they'll get nothing done.
A lot of attention, obviously, in the last couple of days or a week or so on this oil spill and also the terrorist suspect in Times Square. But before we even get to those two topics, whatever happened, to jobs, because all these topics are important to American people, but fundamentally jobs. And I know you're at a job summit in South Carolina where they have 12.2% unemployment, but what do we do about jobs?
Well, that's what's so weird about this administration. The number one, number two, and number three issues in America are jobs and the economy. And this administration ought to be focused every day on creating jobs, not killing them. But every time they turn around, they're killing more jobs. We held a meeting to American Solutions today, had a small business leadership meeting. We had a Tea Party meeting. And then tonight we had a summit on jobs in Greenville with about 500 people here. Everybody here gets it. They know that at 12% unemployment, South Carolina needs a focus on jobs.
All right, but I guess I'm looking for the do. I understand the talk, and I understand your commitment to. What can we do?
Well, what we could do is, one, move to a balanced budget by controlling spending and reforming government with no tax increase. Two, pass the 5 tax cuts which have now been introduced in the Congress, which are the American Solutions Jobs Program, which I'll go over if you want me to. And 3, create an American energy program to quit sending $500 billion overseas. If you kept that $500 billion at home, you'd create a ton of new jobs just out of our energy industry. So 3 steps. Control federal spending to keep interest rates low and balance the budget. Cut taxes in 5 different ways. 0 capital gains tax, 50% reduction in Social Security and Medicare tax for both the worker and the business. 100% write-off annually for new equipment. Go to the Irish corporate tax rate of 12.5%. And finally, eliminate the death tax permanently. And then open up American energy to enable the country to produce energy here at home, to keep the money here at home. Those steps would lead to a dramatic recovery and would create millions of jobs within 3 years.
So that I fully understand what you propose, what would the Democrats say is wrong with your suggestion?
They love big government and they don't like business, and they hate the idea of tax cuts. They want to raise taxes, which will kill jobs. They want to raise taxes on energy, which will kill jobs. They want to raise taxes on health care, which will kill jobs. They want a much bigger government, which will kill jobs. It's no accident that the only area that grew in the last month, according to Gallup, was the federal government. State and local